vision, they're not respecting their opponents, and TSM, rightfully so, punished them.
Yep. Sometimes that's all it takes, just a little bit of overconfidence, the slow and insidious killer. But Cloud9, they're going to ban out Twisted Fate, Kai'Sa, Ahri, other side, CLG banning out Hecarim, Aphelios, and Jace. C9 quick to pick up the Jinx as their first champion here. The response from CLG, we've been seeing a lot of Zeri after the nerf to bring her away from permaban tier, but...
It's a perma-pick.
Yeah, perma-pick tier is just a little bit lower.
Yeah, maybe hit her a little bit harder next patch. She's been hurt like 40 times.
Take the nerf back to the other kneecap.
She's a good champion, turns out.
Turns out she's pretty strong.
Also
Viego
still just builds Triforce every single game, even with the nerfs.
I mean, when you can guarantee proc Spellblade just on cooldown, you're going to have to nerf I believe the technical unit is ever-loving hell out of it in order to make it not worthwhile.
I mean, it was like a 6 base AD nerf or something, which was like pretty unheard of, and people were like, nah, Triforce still the best.
Triforce? Yep, we'll take it.
Like
no reason
Triforce.
not to. No reason not to. Hey, another champion that loves Sheen, Viego, locked in for CLG, expecting Contractz to pilot that one. Over on C9, Nautilus has been such a popular support pick recently. That's going to get locked in next to the Jinx, and they will pick up the Lee Sin for Blaber in the jungle.
Yep, Blaber going to be bringing that one back. Hasn't been as common for him this split. Does still have the 3 games on it, but one of his less successful ones, has actually 1 and 2 on the pick so far. Not sure if some of those were from lock-in though, to be fair, which wasn't their full lineup, so that would be a little bit fraudulent. Yeah, either way, we're going to see likely support locked in here to answer. Alistar, another champion that is rising in popularity quite a lot. People taking most of their playmaking from bot lane. And most of the time, if teams are going to draft Engage, they are drafting it in that support position because it's been a lot about fighters, a lot about mages in mid and top, and not really so much about the hard Engage.
And I love seeing more hard Engage on a team, right? You and I were literally having a conversation about this, how it always feels good to have at least some form of Engage on your team. Yeah, it's not required to win a game of League of Legends, but man, it makes things hard.
It makes it so much easier when you do have multiple forms of Engage versus when you don't. And I mean, the previous game that we just watched is a perfect example of that with TL. You know, if you're playing from ahead and you make no mistakes, you show up first every objective, they fight into you, you're kind of circumventing the need for Engage. But if you ever make a mistake, if you ever fall behind, you don't have the ability to actually be proactive and start fights on your own terms. You don't have the ability to really look for picks nearly as easily. So it does make things, I think, a lot more difficult, but that is remedied, of course, here with the Nautilus, with the Alistar. Yeah, a lot of solo lanes getting targeted now. The Rise, the Sylas ban. Makes me wonder if CLG is going to go back again towards the TF. That has been one of the premier picks for Palafox. Has played it 3 times, has been a big fan of it. And Sylas is a very common answer into that TF to be able to match those roams. Gnar getting banned out as well, so Summit loses the Jace, loses the Gnar. Those are the 2 that most people will tell you are just like the god champs for Summit that you just never want to play against him on. But if you watch this guy play in Champions Queue, he is extremely adept at pretty much anything he will play. So it is still going to be a scary one there for Jenkins. And rightfully, they're probably going to save him last pick. Lucian, I mean, if they pick it here, it's kind of interesting because it
go either one.
Potentially a flex, exactly. Could be mid or top. We're seeing a lot more double AD comps. Hasn't really made its way to pro as much, but we have been seeing some Kai'Sa more in solo queue and champions queue and in some other regions. Lucian, though, of course, we just watched the Bwipo top Lucian game, so is a possibility.
Well, CLG, you only got a couple seconds left to think about this one. Okay, we're not going to go with anything that was hovered. Instead, locking in the Viktor. You expect this one to most definitely be mid. Now, what is Cloud9's response going to be?
Definitely the Nasus.
Yeah, of course.
For sure, it's going to be the blind Nasus for Summit. That's definitely not a troll.
Nothing bad could ever happen to a blind Nasus top.
It's never happened in any of our games when I've blinded Nasus.
I'm sure that people that play Nasus in solo queue have nothing but very level-headed takes on their matchups when they get counterpicked because there's just such few counterpicks that really work to shut Nasus down.
There's nothing that you can really do.
For anybody out there who might be a new viewer, we are being 100% sarcastic, by the way. Please, for the love of God, never
speak for yourself.
Pick the dog blind like that. You're not going to have a good time. Anyway, we get to see the Kennen up there in the top. They're saying, all right, Jenkins, let's see how you play against it. See if he's really got the mastery from all sides. Syndra going to be picked into the Viktor there in mid lane. Yep. What is CLG's response for the Kennen?
I mean, Aurelia would make a lot of sense. I do think it can be a pretty good actual answer into it. You know, some of the early levels, I think you can get the push maybe on the Kennen, but it's very, very difficult to actually win that matchup post even like level 4. GP, though, is the answer here for Jenkins.
Okay.
Known as a very good GP player as well. Has had some really kind of like greedy GP builds that he's gone for in the past. I think it was him doing the tier GP builds earlier on in the year. Going to be interested to see what he wants to go for here, though, against Summit. Because you can kind of outscale, but I do think if you're winning those little barrel mini games, the Kennen has the ability to win this matchup as well, right? Like you can for sure win the timing on those barrels, and if you're doing that, you can push in, you can poke them out, and you can try to take over through that top lane. It's going to be a really exciting one here between C9 and CLG.
A lion!
Ah, yes, the king of the jungle. Time for a Red Bull.
Red Bull? Still, you'll never be faster than a lion!
I don't have to be quicker than the lion, just faster than you.
Red Bull gives you wings.
What is going on?
I can't afford streaming anymore, so...
Sure you can. State Farm has rates that fit your budget.
Oh, good. Because some true crime would be nice.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or click to get a quote today.
So, keeping in the spirit of the day, Azael, which has been these sort of wild games, and the last game just having that awesome comeback and everything like that, I think most people are expecting Cloud9 to win this game. So, based on what we saw in our draft, based on the compositions in front of us, what's the goal for CLG here in the early game? Where do you want to see the focus? What do you want to see accomplished if they want to upset C9 here?
If CLG want to upset C9, I mean, I think for them it's mostly about stability. I think there's less pressure on them to get a lot done early. You know, you're playing Viktor GP. I think if you're trading farm, if you're actually tracking where Blaber is going as Contractz, I think you're going to be pretty happy. If you want to play towards anywhere, it's likely just going to be more about like protecting and counter ganking. I think that's more the option here for Viego. On the other side, for C9, I think they want to have push in mid and top, allow Blaber to play aggressive, get in the face of the Viego, look for these mid-jungle 2v2s, maybe even roam Winsome up, roam Summit down, really try to play through the Syndra, be able to get that advantage, look to snowball the game through those solo laners because, the way that C9 wins this game is through 5v5, right? And that's by getting advantages in lane, setting up early on Dragon, stacking those, forcing CLG to come to you. And CLG just wants to play slow, wants to play steady. And if you're 20 minutes in, there's no first blood, Viktor and GP are getting 11 CS per minute, you're feeling pretty happy.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. One thing to note here is both sides have placed down wards in the back part of the red buff pit of their opponents. So with both of our junglers starting off on the reds, both teams are going to know exactly that. So junglers will be aware of the general direction that their opponent is pathing. As you said, we're looking at Contractz to potentially do a little bit of nullification here against Blaber in the early game, shut down any plays he might try to make. So it'll be Blaber that we watch to see where he wants to focus and if Contractz can read that.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, there are going to be some opportunities, of course, when you are having a pushing lane, if you know where Blaber is and you know that it's not going to be a 2v2, then you can try to look to make your own aggressive plays as Contractz, potentially Summit if he over pushes. You can look to try to do a wraparound gank up there. But in general, I do think it's mostly just looking to chill and farm here on the CLG side.
This Alistar skin, his eyeballs are so bright in the brush. Look at him. He's got like two...
That's some zombie eyes.
Yeah, glowing yellow eyeballs. That is a spooky Alistar.
Usually if you're watching a show and there's someone's back, right? And it just shows the back and then they turn around and their eyeballs are glowing, you're like, that guy's the villain.
Yeah, they're
that guy's the villain
dude.
For sure.
Is Poome the villain of bottom lane here in this matchup?
he might be the villain to C9, right? It's probably a matter of perspective,
Yeah.
It's not black and white here in LCS. Poome, if he gets a kill on Berserker, he's probably the villain of Berserker.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Then Berserker's got himself set up with a Nemesis as Blaber has found his way into the enemy jungle. And he is going to be stealing away the blue buff as Contractz will have the opportunity to do the same back. But Contractz is going into the mid lane instead. He will force Fudge
Contractz doesn't know.
down into the river. Okay. Yeah, Contractz didn't trade this off. It's just Blaber taking the blue. And now as Contractz walks over, he'll be on top of the blast cone. Winsome missing the dredge line there. Could have put some real pain on the CLG jungler.
Yeah, but still, it's going to be a 3-buff start. Blaber still has his own blue buff quadrant to go back to if they want. They have the push here on bot, so Winsome is just moving in. If Poome wasn't there to cover, they actually could have gone in and harassed him at the Gromp. But when you're in this weird situation where they go into split map and you do not, so Contractz didn't have the read, he doesn't go into split map, he's going to lose his blue. He uses the pressure from Winsome to secure him bottom scuttle, so now it's a 3-buff and a double scuttle.
And CLG is looking to make the moves. Berserker in trouble like you were talking about, Isaac. Poome is the villain here for the Cloud9 AD carry.
Look at that
jumping
bully.
in on him.
Beating up on Powder.
Oh no, from
He's just a little kid.
From the hit TV show with Ryan.
This evil cow with the glowing eyes is gonna beat up Powder in my video games?
I must have missed the episode where he showed up. He was a secret Easter egg character.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, you only got to see the episode with him. It was the hidden 10th episode.
Exactly.
You have to put in a certain cheat code at the main menu.
Yeah. With, you know, L then R twice, and then you do a little circle and like figure 8, you know.
Yeah, you got to go back into another menu and then return to that one to do the second half. It's really tricky.
It's good.
For everybody
episode,
out there who
Good
hasn't
episode.
seen the 10th episode of Arcane, you're missing out. But back up here in topside, let's check in on Summit versus Jenkins, because you were mentioning how, hey, the barrel minigame is very winnable.
Yep.
And if you can win out against that game, then Gangplank's going to have a harder time dealing with the Kennen.
Yep, absolutely. And Summit, you know, just trying to avoid those barrels, trying to poke them out. You know, he is going airy, so he is playing, you know, pretty heavily for the early stages. When you go for airy, you're really looking for these trades. He's going Scorch, he's going airy, he's going to go Taste for Blood to try to sustain through some of this. Contractz is looking for a wraparound, and this is when you're at your most vulnerable on this push, but it's a good sidestep there. And as long as he holds onto his E, he should be able to get out. He sees the Viego. He's going to E. He might have to trade flashes. Yep.
Flash for flash.
That was nice, though, from Contractz. You see how he actually held onto his stun after he flashed?
Yep.
He didn't actually immediately release it, because if Summit then does one of those panic flashes, and it's easy to say, oh, of course he's not going to, but in some of those situations, you just insta-flash as soon as you see their flash, and you don't get full distance, or you do a weird angle. In one of those situations, he actually could have followed through and been able to land the stun afterwards, because the channel was still going. So, cool little mind game there. The wave does get full reset? I can't quite see. Yeah, okay, it's going to bounce towards him. You know, it's pushed in far enough. So Summit is okay, but I would say what you're most scared of now is post 6, because if GP hits 6, you are in a long lane, and Viego comes back, and you just get GP ulted for the slow, you're probably going to get run down.
Yeah, the flash not being there tells me in the next 5 minutes, Contractz needs to come back up here, or we need to see Poome make a rotation, or we need to see Palafox make his way up there. Yeah, exactly. We're gonna build up the Poome cinematic universe here as C9 looking to invade the CLG Gromp. Contractz is going to be forced away from that one. The Gromp is very low. Blaber just comes in with a classic TY for leash, and C9 decides that's enough.
Yep, no smite available for Contractz, so just going to go in for the invade, take that away. And Blaber is punishing. You know, he is punishing very, very well. He had the good read on what Contractz would do early on. 3-camp clear, move towards bot side, so he does his own 3-camp clear on bot side, cross maps, takes away the blue, gets double scuttle. Now, off the top lane gank, re-invades, takes away the Gromp. So he is getting, you know, 3, 4, 5 camps ahead, even just in total that he could have taken. You can see it's showing itself already in the farm advantage, and the fact that he's able to take that time to even go get a dragon as well does bode well for C9, who, you know, we talked about they want to be 5v5ing, they want to be playing around neutrals. So if you have bot push, if you take early dragons, it's a great way to put a clock on CLG and say, all right, you can ignore us the first 2 dragons, but on dragon number 3, you're going to have to come down here in 5v5.
You need to show up. At that point, I don't care how well the farming has been going, because you're being summoned away from that. It's time for the PvP.
Ding, ding, ding.
No more of this. The bell has rung, and Poome is making his way towards
Those golden
mid.
eyes.
We'll see if he... Nope. All right, never mind. Not going to happen. Back up here in top side. Summit's got an ulti. Jenkins at half HP, but of course Summit knows that he can always eat an orange and just get away from anything, so there's no reason to get too overzealous. That barrel's not quite going to find the target there onto the little Yordle, as we've got the red buff being picked up by Blaber. Poome once again just roaming around, trying to find some vision, trying to see if there's anything to set up here. Winsome gonna go back down underneath that turret there with Berserker. Notice how Berserker was staying back a little bit, not going back underneath the turret until Winsome was there with him. Did not want to put himself in any danger.
Oh, here's this play that we were talking about. Contractz just hit 6. This is a great timing for it. Set it up with the GP ult. They got to commit to the play as soon as they go. But, oh, Blaber has the read. Blaber's actually coming up looking for a potential counter gank here. Will they try to take the fight?
Looks like Summit's going in. He'll find the damage here at the very beginning, but now he's going to be jumped on. He's killed before Blaber can make his way into the fight, and Cloud9 has committed a rather large error, my friends. Blaber tries to get out. Jenkins still in hot pursuit, needs another shot out of the parlay, but he can't find it. Cloud9 go 0 for 1 in the top side.
Yeah, Summit goes in there. You know, he thought that they had the 2v1. That's why he goes in early, but it ended up being Viego has the inside track because he engages and Blaber is behind him. So it gave him that false sense of security. CLG come out on top, and good patience for Contractz. I think a lot of players, as Blaber walked up, would have just engaged onto Blaber in that 1v1 and not been able to actually peel back and bail out their GP. So well played by Contractz and Jenkins in a great spot.
And we're not done yet. Bottom lane's gonna turn bloody as Poome and Luger are going for the 2v2. Berserker takes Poome down to 200 HP. Winsome's also hurting a bit. Luger still has plenty left to use, but with his support almost completely dead, they have to back off. Luger's still the man to watch, half mana, full health. Winsome still has plenty to work with too, so everybody's gonna walk away. I like the fact they went for it, but not quite enough damage on either side to get it done.
Yep, not quite enough. But Poome has been very proactive. It feels like he's been moving around the map a lot, trying to threaten plays, trying to make things happen. You know, C9, their bot lane generally doesn't try to get a lot done early, as Luger's just going to E over this wall, gets the slow, and trying to get another nice trade. But Berserker, he's one of those guys, I just think he has such a good read on the damage thresholds of champions. It's very rare that you're going to force a summoner from him unless it's absolutely needed. He doesn't panic flash, he doesn't panic heal.
And that's such an important trait to have, because getting a kill is one thing. Getting a kill where you also make them waste a summoner for nothing is so much more, because it sets up the next kill to have that much higher for a chance of success. So being able to have that discipline, have that read, have that patience can give you a lot of advantages over the course of a game, as now CLG has brought Contractz into the bottom side. He'll set up here inside this brush, just goes back over to the Krugs instead. Winsome thinking about a Hex Splash over the wall, chooses not to, recognizing there could be some very immediate danger, and that is a good read as well. CLG is going to back away. They won't clear the entirety of the Krug camp. They recognize that might be a little bit risky. They don't know exactly where Blaber is. Palafox pushing up in mid.
Oh, he stopped the recall. That was nice. So this is one of the things that we're seeing a lot more Jinx players actually do. And if you saw on the minimap, Luger pushes in, and then he wants to bounce the wave and then reset right on that timing. So Berserker had the read on where he was. I don't think they actually had vision, and he just throws the ult from base to stop the recall. Summit, though, going aggressive.
Summit's going in for the stun. Blaber with the kick. There's Q1. There's Q2. Blaber tying up the game.
Yeah, going to be able to get that kill, and they have Herald. So now it can potentially hurt a lot more, but they're going to hold on to the Herald for now. There is a roam from CLG, mid and jungle, moving up towards top to protect here. So C9 going to take discretion here as the better part of Valor. Just going to take one plate, likely back it up.
Well, Summit's getting a lot of extra damage on this. Looks like he is hungry for that second plate. Poking towards Contractz. Honestly, Contractz ate a lot of damage from those two quick hits out of the Kennen, and there's another one. Summit takes him down to about 1/4 of his health. But that distraction is enough to prevent Summit from getting the second plate.
Yep, absolutely. Berserker, though, face check here onto Poome. Is Zeri in range?
Oh, they're ready to go. Poome's not quite in range here for the stun, so they cannot lock Berserker down enough, but that did get both of those summoner spells out of the Cloud9 AD carry.
It did, but it also got Luger's flash and both summoners, I think, off Poome. I'm actually not sure if he was on Hex Flash already or if that was his flash. That's something maybe production could let me know, but it was, a lot of summoners used on the other side there too, as Luger wanted to try to close the gap for the zap for that slowdown there. And Summit did stay a long time. I was expecting him to just take the reset, but I guess he wanted to stay out on the map. His TP was almost up, so he's going to be willing to just get all this additional farm, get the gold, try to hit a threshold where he has a really good base, and then he could look to TP back, or even just hold on to that TP to potentially threaten here at this next dragon. As CLG are starting it up, and they have way more members in the area, with Berserker not having sums, I think C9 are just going to make a call to give.
Ooh, that was a close super mega death rocket, though. I like the attempt from C9, but this is an early answer for what you were talking about previously, saying, hey, if C9 can get both of these, CLG will have to answer eventually. Yep. CLG found a window to answer the question before it was even asked.
Yeah, buy yourself some more time. Just keep on farming it out here. Blaber going mid, can't quite find it, as someone's trying to fish for a Q there to interrupt the recall. But just been kind of just back and forth. I mean, Summit has had more pressure. He has such good movement. As I think that's like the first barrel I've seen land on Summit in this lane. He has really, really good movement as a player. It's one of his absolute strengths. And when you watch him play in Champions Queue and Solo Queue, and as I've been watching a lot of these pros streaming, it's really fun to watch how much some of these guys are willing to push to the limit and how good they can look when it really does work out.
Well, Summit is going to continue pushing things up here in the top lane as that wave gets shoved out again. Jenkins still underneath the turret. Couple wave lead for Summit, but Jenkins can make up a little bit of that here. Back in the jungle, Blaber continues to build his lead. Both of our junglers do have their free boots. They do have their completed mythics, but Blaber is up about 6 camps worth of farm. So the tempo continues for the Lee Sin.
Yeah, and Syndra's here with him. They are missing from mid. Are they going to go towards top? Looks like they were thinking about it, but Fudge now spotting Contractz, moving back towards bot. Could be a two-man dive here still. Jenkins has ult though, so it is a bit risky.
Blaber just walks up, goes for the kick into the wall, but it doesn't even matter if Jenkins tried to use the oranges in the flash, but the counterattack comes out. And now Contractz is grabbing one to make the trade even. He'll possess the Kennen, goes right back to farming. There's nothing more to find. Even trade.
And that was actually really clean from Contractz. Over the wall there immediately. Nice combo to get the kill. But because Fudge moved down towards mid, he didn't actually come in on that dive. And Palafox TP'd top. C9 still end up coming out on top, right? Because it's the summoner used from Palafox. It's a wave lost mid that no one can actually pick up there on CLG. And it is the 1-for-1 kill. The only kind of concern is that Summit hasn't gotten any of these kills, and if he starts losing out in the side lane, it does get more difficult. You know, Kennen generally succeeds early on in lane, but doesn't scale as well in the 1v1. But we can watch this one more time. He had the read. I mean, he wards over the wall there, so he knows this could be happening. Yep. Sees Blaber now. He's got to look for the early ulti. Does go for the barrel chain to clear out that wave as much as he can. Drops the ulti down. Blaber and Summit have the clean kill, but look at this. I mean, Contractz, that was full confidence. He had the blind W and immediately ulted after. Didn't wait to actually see if it hit confirmed, but he knew he nailed it. Catches Summit with that. Ulti to follow up. Gets the immediate kill. Good play from Contractz.
And the thing that I want to point out, because it's not immediately obvious, is the fact that Jenkins did the combo of he used his cleanse, his oranges, to remove the knock-up from Lee Sin, which in most situations is not useful at all. You still have to complete the physics, but never mind, we got another fight breaking out instead. Contractz throwing out the Spectral Maw, and Poome's going to be thrown up into the air. Cloud9's brought forward to the party, and CLG's done the same. Everybody trying to disengage this one. Poome walking away. The Alistar, plenty tanky there with the ultimate, and it keeps him alive.
Yeah, going to be able to survive, just kind of trading back and forth. It is also Cloud Soul, which is not really what you want to see as C9. I do think it is very strong, you know, particularly for the Kennen. It's really, really nice. But, you know, and move speed just generically strong. Like 10% flat move speed when you're really good at the game, as these people are, is just valuable because you just dodge more stuff. You chase people down, you kite them out in more ways than you would expect, but still, it's not Hextech Soul that would you be really hoping for, or like Ocean Soul, something that makes it really easy to snowball the game, or even like an Infernal Soul that can help Syndra hit that point where you hit the damage threshold where your combo just kills them. Yeah. You know, they're at a small advantage. This is pretty much dead even, and that's kind of what I was talking about CLG wanting early on. You know, we pinpointed like 20 minutes, you're gonna be really happy if they're farming even. Well, they are, and CLG should be feeling good about their spot.
Well, they're coming in. They do not even want to give this away. They're looking to contest for it. Cloud9 secured the Herald, but the eye remains on the ground. Summit wants to step forward and be able to claim this one. CLG will not defend it. They tried to posture. They tried to scare him away, puff up their chest, spread their feathers. Didn't work. Cloud9 called the bluff.
Yeah, they see Luger and Palafox over towards mid. They know they can walk back in. They do grab it. Summit going to be able to grab it for himself here as well. Going to be happy about that one, trying to push in here and potentially knock down that tier 1. But Jenkins has his Triforce. Ludens is done here for Palafox. So the Mythics really all coming through already for CLG. Going to be feeling good about their spot in the game for sure. I'm sure Summit will have his Mythic on recall.
Yep, there we go.
And does have that completed. So he's at a really strong point too. And I think they want to start grouping. Like, I really do think you want to start playing for these dragons. Try to find a good angle that Summit can threaten a flank for. He has the Sork Boots. He has Heel Cut. He's got the Rocket Belt. So really he wants to 5v5. And it's up to CLG to just try to like slow them down and buy time for Jenkins, because there's no TVs available on CLG rather, on C9. So I'm surprised he's actually going to TP to answer. Like, they're way too late for this. You could just take tier 1 for free.
Cloud9 are going to secure this Drake, I would have to assume. There you go. Just walk out the bottom. Yeah, the TP ends up coming in for a whole lot of nothing, and CLG are not there in time.
Yeah, this is one of those plays that, I mean, the TP usage is so big in League of Legends. And we've seen a few times today where I think teams actively hurt themselves by using TP. And this is one of them. That's a free tier 1. You take that full tower top, you know, with the passive damage on your true damage burn, with the Sheen procs as well. It's very, very easy to reset that and knock down the tower. So instead of just getting Jenkins free gold on topside as a trade, you actually expend the TP. You're now at a TP disadvantage, meaning he's going to be forced to group when someone shows top, because someone can threaten TP flanks, and you still lose the dragon. So it's one of those situations where teams, I think, sometimes are too overzealous, right? They're like, we're strong, we can fight. But yeah, but you don't need to. You have something guaranteed that's even better on top.
Blaber goes in. There's another kick. follow-up coming in from Slicing Maelstrom. They just made it look way too easy. There's no way out for Jenkins. That's death number 3 for the CLG top laner. Palafox trying to push in that top lane wave now, but as you can tell, when Cloud9's ready to respond, you cannot get the whole turret, just almost gets it down to half.
Yep. Hex Drinker now picked up here for Jenkins. He knows it's double AP soul laner, so the people that are going to be answering him are going to be dealing magic damage, so I do think that's a pretty effective buy here.
Yeah.
And C9's still barely ahead, honestly. A lot of it is, GP gold, of course. You kind of get the bonus gold there, but GP scaled very, very well. So does Viktor. They're looking strong. It is going to be kind of more up to Berserker, I think, to do some of the heavy lifting in the later stages, unless you can find a really good flank from someone like Summit. But of course, Berserker was kind of sacrificed early to try to put more pressure up towards top lane. He was the one that was getting zoned off waves while they went up to top lane and tried to dive, so... But we'll see if they can find those good TP flanks, get the good Kennen ults, because that always can be kind of the X factor.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you brought up the Hex Drinker, talking about going to the side lanes and being answered by AP champions. There are 4 pairs of Mercury Treads on the side of CLG against these double AP solo lanes, but now Cloud9's got to be aware of CLG coming in to make a play. Winsome immediately dead as the Gangplank ulti keeps raining down, supporting fire. Contractz keeps the chase alive as Blaber goes back into the melee. And Cloud9 turn it around. Contractz will be the next one dead, and Winsome is traded for 4.
You are kidding me with that kick, Blaber. It looked like C9 was just about to lose the game. Gonna get chased down, knocked down. That looked like a 4-man kick as Blaber turns around at low health, knocks him through the whole team. Fudge arrived, hits his combo, Berserker is there, and they're gonna get so much. That's all the kills. Tier 1 tower already down. They can continue to push. As Blaber takes away the jungle, they're gonna get 2 towers off of this. That was such a huge swing in the game. And C9 with an incredible punish there off of the kick from Blaber that is gonna be playing over and over in all of CLG's minds.
Let's play it again here, see how he got it done.
Yeah, this is the first of many times they're gonna rewatch this play. As they find the pick here, Blaber, though, has the quick flash to get knocked the other way to safety. They still get the kill, though, onto Winsome. They have the GP ulti falling through, and you think, all right, they got it. Contractz picks up the Nautilus soul there, flashes forward, and then Q, kick, 1, 2, 3, 4, count them, into the middle of them all. Gore Drinker, 6, 7, 4 was the heal as Fudge flashes over, kills them all. That was huge. 1 click, 1 kick, and it's all done just like that. 4,000 gold lead now for C9, and they pick up another kill onto Poome as we come back to live. And now C9's saying, okay, we got a 5v4, we got a good situation. Start Baron, make them come answer. And where's Summit? They gotta be worried about where that little electric rat is. They don't have eyes on him. And Summit's hiding on the flank. He has the ability to come in here and eviscerate him if they overextend.
Okay, he did hit the Thundering Shuriken onto Contractz there in the brush, so they know that CLG has a man off to the other side. C9 did take a lot of damage in the Baron pit there, so they will not be able to go any further with this. CLG stops it, but it's still Cloud9's game for sure right now. 30 seconds until our next Drake spawns. If C9 can secure that one, they'll be on sole point. But it's CLG heading down to the bottom side river first.
That is such a weird TP from Jenkins. He TP's bot, doesn't even get a minion, I don't think. He barreled the wave, but then just had to leave. That's your TP down. Whoa, for what? I mean, I don't know what to say about that one. I mean, I guess he just really wants to push it in to try to get the waves moving for this dragon, but he didn't even get to reset and spend his gold because of it. So we'll see. He is going to be able to push in the wave. He has eyes on Summit, so that is something. And CLG have the inside track on this. With the wave coming in, though, Fudge could push out mid, and then C9 have a bit of that pressure, and Summit still has a good position here to flank from. Jenkins has got to track the Kennen and not allow him in, because if he wraps around on them, if he gets that multi-man ult, they're gonna lose the fight.
It will be trouble. The dragon down below half HP. Blaber's in the pit. He's ready to smite fight for this one. Where's Contractz at? It's going to be secured by the Jinx. Now Summit tries to get away from Jenkins here in the 1v1. Flashing away underneath the turret using the Slicing Maelstrom. Summit tries to bait him in. It'll be traded evenly. Here in the bottom side, the 4v4 turns into nothing, and the 1v1 turns into 2 tombstones.
Yep, C9 do come away with that dragon, so credit to Jenkins. I think he played that out very, very well. Maybe a bit overly critical of the TP, It does end up working out as he's at least able to mark the Kennen and do his job. It is just a 1-for-1, but it is way more valuable to be able to actually keep that Kennen out of that fight. If Kennen gets in on the flank, your whole team is going to die. So he's marking the Kennen down on the bottom side. It's about the 4v4 up on the top side then, as C9 are just hitting that Dragon. Berserker and the Lee Sin are straight onto it. So it is actually grabbed by Berserker himself. Summit holds the flash till late, waits till the flash follow, has the ulti coming through, but Jenkins did have the orange to actually be able to cleanse the stun as Berserker went for that. You know, Berserker was trying to bait him fully into the tower, then when he flashes, get the instant stun on him with the shuriken, the W, the ulti, everything going down at once. But Jenkins handles it well, wins the 1v1, and that does bode well, at least for their side lane, if they can kind of stabilize the game, because after that kick and into all the gold that C9 got, has felt very C9 favored, and CLG again needs to try to really slow it down somehow.
And one thing I also want to point out here, hold on a second. Jenkins is going in and Fudge is in some trouble. Trial by fire burns him away. Fudge gives away a free one.
That's a big kill there. Getting an easy kill onto Fudge doesn't even cost him his ulti or anything as Fudge gets caught on the face check. Summit trying to push on the other side. And this is where you do kind of wish you had that TP back that Jenkins spent earlier, because he doesn't have TP. He can't answer this. He just based, and now it's a TP flank here from Summit.
Luger tries to get away, but Summit's ready to go right on in, slicing Maelstrom into CLG, and it will slice them to pieces. Palafox wants to get away over the wall and sidesteps the Sonic Wave, but C9's collapse claims 2.
Yeah, that is a really good usage of your TP advantage. They knew that he spent his TP before that Dragon down towards bottom side. They knew that he based up on top side. So as soon as he goes back to base, it's an immediate TP from Summit. They're going to be on the Baron here as well. Contractz is down on bot side. They are going to GP ulti, but C9 look like they're down to stay around. I mean, this is getting dicey. I don't know if you want to stick to this at this point. Contractz is almost here, and they have some low health bars on C9.
Jenkins walks right into the waiting Nautilus. However, the pixel brush is very dangerous. Oranges or not, Citrus won't save you, and Blaber's unstoppable.
All right, so they do get them off the Baron. They get that 1 kill for it. Still, C9 being very aggressive, 12 kills to 5. You know, Jenkins picking up a couple in the last couple minutes, but really, CLG has not been able to win out in these fights. It still feels like they need more time here. Recognizing how effective DMR is going to be. It's a Banshee second for Palafox. The Merc Treads you already identified. There's a Maw on the GP, but here it is. The long distance flash ulti there from Winsome onto Luger. The early exhaust is really the only thing that keeps them from all instantly dying here to Summit's flank. But Blaber gets in on top. Berserker gets the reset, speeds up, closes the gap. All the flashes forced there on CLG. Things looking dicey now as C9 clearing out vision around the Baron, trying to black out this part of the map, deny any eyes for CLG around here, and really kind of force them into a difficult situation where, you know, potentially, if CLG has no wards up on the Baron side, yeah, they go to try to prevent the soul, and C9 can even start Baron.
C9 is in such a scary spot right now. The thing I was going to mention before the pick on the Fudge happened, the build for Summit is strictly magic penetration. He's got the Proto Belt, which gets bonus impen from every completed item. He's got Sork Shoes, he's got Shadow Flame. He's making sure he can deal the most raw damage possible, foregoing utility of things like Azonia's in its place. And that's why those collapses, like what we saw in mid lane where he's in the middle of everybody, that's why those hurt so much.
And I actually think these builds are way more effective. I think you can delay Zonia's and just play with a stopwatch, right? You don't need to fully complete a Zonia's. Zonia's as your second item really does reduce the amount of damage that you're doing so much compared to something like a Shadow Flame in this build. And you can just go stopwatch, pick up the full Zonia's later on. Unless there is like a Syndra or something with one of those ultimates that is so critical, they get so much value out of Zonia's thing. I just don't think you need to rush it. So I like the build a lot here. Of course, there is the risk of getting turned on, CC'd up, burst down. That's something you're going to have to play around here. But Summit trying to play towards these sides, clear out vision as much as he can. Contractz trying to shoo him away.
Contractz ran in there, used the red smite. Blaber goes in for the kick, but Luger's able to reposition himself in time to try to get away. Blaber buying a moment of his own here with a stopwatch as a barrel's thrown down, and Blaber is vulnerable once again. CLG able to disengage and re-engage, and Poome is trying to set it up, but he will not find a single man. Blaber and Winsome walk away, and Cloud9 get 2 for nothing.
Yeah, Blaber not quite able to find the kick angle there on Luger, but it didn't matter. CLG had a good turn, with the Viktor ulti, with the GP ulti. It looked like they might have been able to chase them down.
Wallet dip.
As they dive in, exactly, the gold making the difference there. Fudge, Berserker, Summit, all very, very strong. Blaber very far ahead of the pace of the game. He has just been crushing lately. Another game, 5-0-7 on the Lee Sin here. Feels like every game lately, Blaber is just absolutely taking over. He is well and truly back in his MVP form, has been so amazing for Cloud9.
So many plays being made. We all remember the kickback in the blue side jungle. He attempted to make another big kick here.
And this is really just about the dash from Luger. It's kind of a well-timed dash. He takes the very end of that Q as it's about to expire. Wardhop, kick, flash. But Luger has the fast fingers there, gets the dash back. Blaber not able to get that kick flash in on the right angle, but he has the stopwatch. He buys a lot of time. Look at this zone of control, though. This kind of area here, it's the GP ulti plus the Viktor ulti in that zone. But as soon as those start to expire, you look at where the carries are from Cloud9. Everyone on CLG is hitting Winsome and Blaber, but it's Summit, Fudge, Berserker that kind of spread out and are playing in this kind of circle, semicircle type of positioning where anyone who moves forward from CLG is getting focused down by all of the carries while only being able to hit the front line.
And now CLG is dealing with a very troubling situation, and that is a Kennen with a flash, with an ulti, and with a Cloud Soul. Winsome face checks the brush and decides he's gonna go right back in. There's Summit, there's what I'm talking about. And there's the kill on the enemy jungler. Another one to follow up on Poome. No jungler, everybody's alive. That's a Baron call.
Yeah, that's definitely them going to Baron. No smite for C9 either, though, because Blaber did actually not have a smite charge available, so it does get a little bit nerve-wracking. You don't want to let them in for any chance of a weird steal here, but C9 likely going to look for the turn. They're just slowly knocking it down. Jenkins TP's in, so they're going to try to steal this away, but it is risky pushing here.
The smite is almost ready for Blaber. Cloud9 is just waiting. They're buying enough time.
Yep.
Okay, you're saying smite's good to go. Let's do it. Burn it down. Cloud9 will take the Baron. No losses.
Yep, very well played there. No use in risking it. Exhaust on Summit, though. He's going to get chased down.
Summit, you made a liar out of me!
He always has one. Every game. There's always one.
Everybody gets one. Everybody gets one.
Yeah.
Everybody gets one.
Yeah. All right. He's going to take the L on that one. But the rest of his team looking really good here. 5-0-5 on Berserker, 5-0-9 on Blaber. Fudge was only the one death to Jenkins up on that top side. Cloud9, I mean, this one was really close for a good, I don't know, 15, 18 minutes.
Yeah, CLG got to the early game very nicely.
Yep, it's all that one play that just flipped this game on its head. Blaber's kick meaning so much for the team. Now Jenkins out to the side lane. Still doesn't really have the ability to be answered in a 1v1 from Cloud9. No one can really do it, but Cloud9 has done a great job of kind of forcing CLG to group, of constantly pushing in, taking away vision, looking for aggressive plays, utilizing the engage of Blaber and Winsome to start fights and force CLG to kind of march to the beat of their drum.
And especially with the way things have been, with the way the meta game has been, with these hull breakers taking over everything and split pushing, having more of a prominence in the meta, you want to see teams be able to do that. You need to be able to pull that trigger and go in, and now Contractz has to flash away just to stay alive. Poome down to half HP as well, trying to walk that one off and get himself back to safety. Blaber is providing the one in the 4-1 split push as C9 continues moving down here. Never mind, it's a 3-1-1. Summit's off there in top lane, just getting that wave ready to go too. It's a little ways away, so they'll have to sync those up, but the tier 2 falls in bottom lane. One still barely standing here in mid. Blaber's gonna clear out that wave, get him ready to push that in. You can see all the pings coming out from both sides over here. CLG will have pretty much no choice but to surrender this. Jenkins going top side to try to answer Summit, see if maybe he can find a barrel from the brush to start the fight off the right way. Summit's got backup heading over though, so Jenkins would have to pick his moment very carefully.
If he can get a triple barrel and they pincer on the other side, maybe you make something happen. Like, you got to go for some sort of play, I feel like, but man, he's going to get seen.
Oh boy.
This is giving me sweaty palms. This is one of those situations like you're going to get spotted.
Okay, Blaber's found him. Jenkins has enough buddies nearby, though the rest of CLG was able to slowly creep forward enough that Jenkins had a way out.
Yep. Does end up working out as C9 goes for the reset there. So now it's going to be about the Elder Dragon. That's up here in 130. The Baron buff only has 30 seconds remaining, so C9 just going to use it to try to push out waves here. They're already setting up the vision. Look at how much damage Summit did there. That's not ultimate or anything committed. That's an auto, a Q, and a W. Was a good 60% of Poome's health.
I mean, this is what happens when the team's down 8,000 gold and you're the one playing the support. You're just gonna be a loot pinata if anybody gets more than a second to put some DPS on you. Cloud9 controlling this bottom side jungle from CLG. Look at the awards being placed down. 3 different control wards from Cloud9 here in this jungle. Keep an eyes on the brushes, on the wolf camp, on the brush at the entrance to the river. You can see the other wards placed down there too. They really are prepared here for this Elder fight. They know that they don't want to risk anything crazy here. This is one of the potential throw conditions, is giving away an Elder in a game, so the setup is very important.
It's extremely important. And CLG does have 2 really deep wards, but they don't have champions that can really TP flank, right? Like, Viktor and GP doesn't really matter if they TP down there, so, you know, they have to approach as a 5-man squad, clear out brush by brush, which is very difficult to do, because Fudge can sit here. If he ever finds that scatter, like, this guy is fed, right? He has his death cap, he has his void staff, mythic on top. He is going to, if not 100 to 0 you, get you very low to the point where you can't fight. So it's tough walking through all these brushes, trying to worry about where Summit could be, where Fudge could be.
Both mid laners also with stopwatches ready to go, whether or not that saves them or allows them to play more aggressively, not fearing the consequences.
Berserker's just going mid. C9 says, start in their face, we dare you.
Yeah, C9 they have so much of a lead. They're like, we'll just 4v5 it, and if nothing else, neutralize this. And we have a fed Jinx that can just march towards the turret. Now they're gonna bring that Jinx back. Summit's trying to make his way around. He's still on the flank. Jenkins chasing after him. C9 have brought Berserker back to the scene, and Luger goes over the wall looking for Summit, dropping the exhaust. Even exhausted, Summit nearly kills him. And CLG's looking to chase down the C9 top laner. Winsome goes forward with the flash dredge line, but he misses it. And CLG's ready to fight back, or are they? Palafox is already down, and Berserker is dominating. Luger barely gets himself away as Summit kills Jenkins, and Poome's barely holding on. Contractz is targeted next, and Blaber goes into the wall looking for Luger. He barely skips out, but a double kill back over to Summit and a cleanup for Blaber. C9 get 4.
Cloud9 are going to clean up this game. Waves pushed in all 3 lanes. Cloud9 team fight their way out of that one. They get the soul. They're going to get the game.
That is the end of it. There is nothing Poome can do. C9 will get themselves back into form. They'll look good. 20-6, 12,000 gold lead. They take down CLG.
That was a fun one, man. CLG had a strong early game, but C9 showcased how good they are at team fighting, at these skirmishes, finding angles where they could go aggressive. Everyone really piling in on those windows, and even when CLG, I think, did the best that they could as far as their answers, like they find Summit, they try to chase him out. He just kites them out, buy time for the rest of the squad to get something done elsewhere. And C9 was really playing the push and pull on these kind of 4-1 kind of setups in these team fights very, very effectively. Berserker deathless, Blaber deathless again. 18 kill participation out of 20 in a game like this. That kick as well. I mean, we're going to watch that kick on replay, I think, a lot of times. The 4-man kick, that one felt like the game-winning play, even though it was 20 minutes before the Nexus died.
No, 100%. Whenever I watch League of Legends, I always try to isolate the moment where the game was decided, even if it wasn't at the Nexus. Sometimes it's harder than others, but in this one, it was very easy to point and go, right there. Yep. That's the one. That's the 4-man Lee Sin ultimate that broke this game.
Yeah, I mean, that was just huge. And credit to the team for following up so quickly as well, right? Because Blaber was very low. You know, not only does he find the angle for that 4-man kick, he gets in the middle, gets the 4-man Gore Drinker for a nearly 700 heal, and Fudge is flashing over the wall at the blue buff to follow up. Like, the whole team is there. And that is one of the things that I think, you know, is exciting when you watch a team like Cloud9. When they're playing very well, they're always on the same page.
And that is the funnest kind of League of Legends. Now we're going to join LaTigris and Fudge